Weekly. That's Boris and Matt Weekly, the show where we chat about sports, the show where we chat about entertainment, and then at the end we all bring it all together like a neat little package and chat some sports entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour. How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. This is Boris and Matt Weekly.
I almost forgot my name.
I saw that. I'm sat here drinking a Bud Light mango seltzer. It's pretty terrible, but they're on sale at the LCBO. So hey, you gotta pull shoot sometimes. And yeah, life is good, man. How you doing, big homie?
I'm doing great. Honestly, I cannot wait for this fucking week to end. That's my one swear word, dude. Honestly, I've been so
Got it out
busy.
of the way quick.
So busy. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago or last week, I don't even know when it was. My day job, my shoot job, as we like to say, got acquired. So, which has been a good thing. It's been a very good and positive thing. But you know, you got to make sure that all the employees are happy. You got to make sure that the people that report to you, or as I like to call them, the underlings, are happy, which they are. For the most part.
They probably won't be if you call them underlings, but
They
please
probably don't listen to this show, so they're never going to know that I call them underlings. Heyo, right? So, no, but yeah, all my direct reports, they seem pretty hyped. Not Mojo Raleigh hyped, but just hyped. And today had a super important meeting where I was actually one of the first people to give a presentation to the new powers that be, in terms of what we do, what our product is, how I support the product, yada, yada, yada. Didn't get Jeff Jarrett and Vince McMahon on the spot, so that was good. But it was, no, all in all, it was a really good meeting, and I cannot wait for this freaking week to end. Because like I said, with all of that, I've been literally talking to every single one of my customers, making sure that they're cool too, right? Because they have plans. When a company gets acquired, that's always a little scary for the tech industry, right? So I've been super busy with that. But hopefully once I finish all that, I'll be able to get back to my regularly scheduled program of just being busy with other stuff. Mainly SNME stuff. Not to say that we haven't been busy. And this is like the odd week where we do the midweek to end week BAM. And the reason for that is I like recording BAM on Sundays. It works out while football isn't on. And the unfortunate part is Sundays are sometimes pay-per-view nights. And I just don't want like 1,000,001 shows at once. You know, we'll always find kind of like that midweek slot when there is a pay-per-view on a Sunday, which is more rare. So it kind of works out win-win for us. I'm a fan of getting all my shows done by like, you know, Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, and then having the rest of the week to kind of coast and do whatever it is that I do. But that is that. Matthew, how are you?
I'm good, man. Life is good. I am well, you know, physically. Lots of work. At my job, the owner is in California right now, living it up, living the high life.
Nice.
No, he's on a business trip. But yeah, so it's the store is a little chaotic, but it's I don't know. I'm getting lots of hours. But yeah, no, I usually have Wednesday and Thursday off, but I had to work Wednesday and Thursday this week, so that was part of the reason why BAM was a little screwed up as well. But we're coming at you now, and yeah, lots of stuff to talk about, big homie. But yeah, no, thank you for asking. I'm well. It's getting nicer in Toronto too, which is good. It's just I was walking around with my hoodie jacket in hand today, and that just feels nice, you know.
Doesn't it?
It's just new beginnings.
Right, considering that less than a week ago, we were buried in snow with yet another snowstorm. But honestly, man, it's been really nice weather. Like all day I've had the window open in the room that I work in and just letting that nice breeze in, and it's been feeling really, really freaking good. Just beautiful. Man, I'm in a weird but good mood.
All right, man, that's good. I'm always in a weird but good mood generally on this podcast. That's the energy I feel like I try to bring to it. So this should be fun, man.
Someone has to.
Do you want to start? Yes, well, and today we both are. Do you want to start talking some stand-up comedy?
Well, yeah, because no one watches reality TV the way that I do, and oh my God, has there been some tea in the reality TV world?
Oh,
If
go on.
if
Talk your
anyone,
talk,
okay,
Boris.
if anyone watches or even knows about Vanderpump Rules and the everything that's been happening with Thomas Sandoval and Ariana and Raquel, shoot me a message. We got tons to talk about. Man, I have never talked to my sister as much as I have this week. Just going back and forth with talking about Vanderpump Rules and the reality TV stuff. Oh man, the tea has been spilling all freaking week. Dude, it's been better than wrestling. Whoever writes that stuff should just get hired by WWE.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And they can write storylines and lock them in months in advance, as we'll talk about in a
Long-term
second.
storytelling, motherfuckers. Sorry.
Yeah,
R-rated.
it's oh man, R-rated Boris. Boris with 4 R's today. Boris. Yeah, I actually my roommates have been watching Survivor, so that's been on. It seems like a good season. I kind of been digesting it in the background mostly, but it feels like it's a solid season of Survivor.
That first episode of Survivor, because yes, I have also been watching Survivor. That first episode of Survivor had more injuries than a typical NFL game. Dude, it was crazy. I don't know if you caught on that. Like, there were 4 or 5 injuries among 3 people.
Wow. No, I didn't really catch much of the first one. I did watch this second one a lot more. I didn't realize that. Good heavens.
Yeah. So right away, first game, first challenge for them to get their flints and matches and machete and shit like that, right? Some guy fell, hit his head, just split his head open, just wide open, and then just about passes out. Later on in the game, same guy. He's just chilling under the sun of whatever island they're in the Pacific, just about passes out because of the sun. Later on in the episode, someone separates their shoulder after trying to climb a mountain like a moron. And then I forget what the last injury was, but there was another injury during the actual game. And dude, it was like, I've never seen whoever that medic is just finally got his like 20 plus years of work, justified.
Yeah, no doubt. That's crazy. Maybe pro wrestling bookers are writing reality TV. It's true, Boris.
Yep, exactly. Brian Gerwitz, get at us.
Exactly. Court Bauer on the Survivor team.
All right, so let's talk some comedy because it's both of us watched some specials. I did catch the second special on Netflix that we were talking about because I did want to talk about that. But I think it's well known that both you and I are a fan of the lulls, of the comedy of certain comedians. So what did we watch, Matt?
Yeah, love stand-up, have done stand-up, gonna do it again. The thing is, to be good at it, you must dedicate yourself so fiercely, and you always got to be performing and thinking about material, and it's a full life thing. So I need to do it for like a year, put out an album, and that'll be good. I don't want to be Jerry Seinfeld, but it would be dope if I could be like, even a very poor man's Adam Levine or Divine or whatever his real name is from Workaholics. It's just somebody discover me. It's about goddamn time. Anyway, Boris, moving on to the talk of real comedians. Chris Rock, let's start with him. Selective Outrage on Netflix. So lots to like about the special, lots to dislike about the special, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Chris Rock takes big fucking swings. That's why I love Chris Rock. He is my favorite comedian. He and Dave Chappelle, but I would rank Chris Rock number 1. I've seen his specials more. I've laughed along with them and like my family. Honestly, like he's taught me about like a different culture and a different, just like a way of thinking, and the way that Chris Rock delivers jokes where he's telling truths that are so funny. I love that style. That's kind of what I want to do as a comedian. So like, I love Chris Rock. I was really disappointed with this special in some ways. In some ways I liked it. In some ways I found it very interesting, but he's really hung up on the cancel culture thing. It's just like, if I never again have to hear a rich comedian bitch about cancel culture, it will be too soon. Like, we get it. There's been a dozen comedians in a dozen specials doing the same material over and over and over. Like, I'm over it. Some trans jokes, not really like openly transphobic, like you could say Dave Chappelle specials have been, but it's just like, we get it. We're done with it. He talked about Will Smith at the very end, which was interesting, but it felt like the wound was still quite fresh and raw. Like it
Yes.
felt like he wasn't over it at all.
No. He was very much not over it, and it felt like this was his moment to finally talk about it in public.
Yes, yeah. And he'd be building to it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, excuse me, what I do like about the special, yes, what I do like about the special a lot is that he did it live. Comedy specials are performed over 2 or 3 or more nights and usually edited together, numerous sets, sometimes 2 or 3 sets in that night, right? So you're getting a best of compilation in a comedy special. And Chris Rock did this one in one take. And he actually, in the live performance, which apparently has since been edited out, although when I went and watched it immediately after, it was still in it. I did see him screw up his final joke about Will Smith, which in a way I felt added to the set. It certainly did not add to the humor because he fucked the joke up, but it added to the emotion of the set because he was so in the moment. He was so like raw and feeling what he was saying that he actually just got upset and said the wrong thing because he was ranting, he was feeling it. So I actually liked that flub in its own way. The most interesting part of the special was him talking about his daughter. That was my favorite part. I laughed a couple times there, but that was basically it. That was like the only time I had really laughed at this Chris Rock special, man. And that kind of made me sad. Like this was my least favorite special of his, in my opinion. I think it's his worst special.
Yep, I agree with you. I thought, look, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it at the same time. I felt that I'm tired of like you mentioned, of the whole cancel culture stuff, right? I'm not gonna get into the conversation today, but just so much that bothers me about kind of the points he was trying to make. I get where he's coming from. I really, really do. But there's a lot more to cancel culture and the current cancel culture that we live in, because let's not forget that back in 2001, when people who are now considered snowflakes, lefties, libtards, whatever you want to call them, talked against certain things, they were being, quote unquote, canceled, Dixie Chicks, people like that. Anyways, don't want to get too deep into it, but, there's so much more about that topic, but it's very easy. It's low-hanging fruit almost at this point, right? Bill Burr's done it to death.
Solo.
He's doing it to death. Woody Harrelson essentially did the same thing on SNL in his monologue. If you watch that, it's done. It's over with. I'm done with that. Right? And I think the summary, the way that I best summarized it was the message that I sent you, and that was Chris Rock is becoming the person that he used to make fun of the most.
That's what's so sad, man. That is what's so sad. He used to I don't know, this is probably overstating it, but it felt as a fan, as a young kid watching him too, it felt like he used to speak truth to power and kind of be for the little guy. And now he is quite the opposite. And it's just like, yeah, man, like when all the old guys are talking about one thing, and I'm not trying to age discriminate or anything, like they're, you know what I mean? I love that. I'm still a fan of Ron McClain. I was still a fan of Don Cherry until he went nuts and pointed in the camera and said some racist shit and got fired. But it's cool when old people are allowed to age on screen. And I think just because you pass 45, it doesn't mean you're no longer valid in our society. I want to see what the elder statesmen have to say. I want to see what Chris Rock has to say. I want to see what Dave Chappelle has to say. But if they're all talking about the exact same thing, and it's just tired and hack, you got to get off the subject. How do they not see that they're tired and hack? They were the geniuses my whole life, and now they can't see that they're just all just digging in the same well. What the fuck is going on, man? I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yep.
But
agreed.
But it is what it is. Chris Rock had a lot of pent up rage in him. I felt like you could have called this Chris Rock pent up rage, especially.
I think that was the issue. I think he was angry. I think he's angry at the world. I think he's angry at Will Smith. I think he's angry at the Smiths in general. I think he's just an angry person, and this special kind of reflected that.
Exactly right, man. Well put. Yeah, it seems like and hopefully that's not permanent. It seems like at this moment, though, and rightfully so, I suppose. But at this moment, it seems like he's really, really angry. which brings me to Marc Maron's special From Bleak to Dark, because after watching Chris Rock's special and not really enjoying it, I was like so in a comedy mood. I was like, oh, I'll give Marc Maron's a try. I was kind of blown away.
This one to you because I know I'm a huge fan of Marc Maron, right? Like I've always listened to his podcasts, loved him in Glow. I almost said Glee. I'm like, no, it's not GL. Other letters. Glow. He was awesome in it. So a lot of our listeners might know him best at that or his podcast. He does so much. But his latest special, which you can catch here in Canada on Crave, I was blown away by
HBO.
it. Yes.
Yes, yeah. From Bleak to Dark, Marc Maron, his 2023 special. I think this is his finest work, man. I would go as far as to say this is Marc Maron's masterpiece. He talks about losing. He talks about losing his girlfriend. He talks about the society we're in and like people. And he is lefty, you know what I mean? But Chris Rock is very clearly a Democrat and a lefty as well. And I thought he completely missed the mark. So maybe I'm biased, and that's fine. But. Well, you know, and I thought Marc Maron, like the way he talked about quote unquote cancel culture, he kind of weaved into it and out of it, and just his storytelling is very good. And he doesn't have to be the coolest guy in the room. He can still kind of like be an asshole, but you still like him. I don't know. Like I just thought this was brilliant stand-up comedy. Like this is a special that I know I will watch more than once in my life. I will show people. I might throw it on for my mom next time I'm home, you know, for a week. Like honestly, like this is a special that's going to stick with me. So Marc Maron's is for me like 5 out of 5. Like I would highly recommend Marc Maron's special From Bleak to Dark. And I never thought I'd say it. Never in a million years, but I liked Maron's way more than I liked Chris Rock's, man. Way more. It was way better.
What a crazy world we live in, right? It's absolutely crazy. And I agree with you, right? I watched the Marc Maron one. Like, I was in a weird mood. And I just needed something chipper, something happy to watch. And I turned it on, and I was blown away by it. He gets so real and so emotional at times, but yet he's still able to hit the mark on his jokes, right? As you mentioned, he talks about his girlfriend that passed away from during COVID. Not from COVID, during COVID. And he kind of talks about kind of the depression and the loneliness that was added on by all the COVID stuff, right? He also talks and stuff that you never really knew about him, his family life, him growing up, and stuff like that, which was, I feel like, someone as a comedian, as one person, right? And oftentimes it's like it's a mirror of themselves. But I really feel like you really got to know him in this one.
Yeah, man, exactly. And that's what comedy is all about. So Chris Rock had some real stuff to talk about, obviously, but so did Marc Maron. I would argue his, we can get into a whole thing with the Chris Rock stuff about the slap. I don't think I'm actually shocked that he's so hurt and embarrassed by it. Why? You won, bro. You won that exchange. Like Will Smith, what I was worried about, and I think it might be happening, is that it was going to hurt both people's careers.
Now it is.
Obviously, now it is, man. Obviously, it was going to hurt Will's. Like, he embarrassed himself. But there's a way for Chris Rock to laugh that off and rebound. And I don't think he's done it. I'm shocked at how much it kind of like traumatized him. Like, why? Man, I've been punched in the face before numerous times, sometimes by people bigger than me, sometimes by people smaller than me. Nobody likes being punched in the face, but like, I don't know. John Moxley might. Some people might. Hey, some people pay for the privilege, But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just shocked that Chris Rock is so traumatized by this thing, man. I think he won. He told a joke so rude that the Fresh Prince got out of his fucking chair and slapped him in the mouth. In the absence of the Tonight Show, Boris, with Johnny Carson, that's pretty much every comedian's dream now in 2023.
Agreed.
Just say something so rude that a 90s TV star slaps you in the mouth. Me, I'm hoping it's Blossom.
Oh my God. You know what's so creepy? I was going to say, fuck you, Joey Lawrence.
What? whoa, Boris. But you know what though? Like we were saying about paying for the privilege, maybe if maybe I want Blossom to slap me in the face for different reasons. Ayo, my imbalance. Let's move on.
Speaking of getting slapped in the face, you know who's had a pretty tough week? The Toronto Raptors on their West Coast swing.
Yeah, the Raptors usually get slapped with various appendages while they're on the West Coast.
Yeah, but this week has been pretty tough. Look, I don't know how to approach the subject, but I'm just going to talk about how the Raptors feel. They feel that they've been slighted. They feel like they've been put in the wrong by the NBA referees. That they lost against Denver after a bunch of calls, after Scotty Barnes being ejected from the game for saying something under his breath. It's been a very tough week for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet was the latest one to talk about this, and on Sunday he said he wanted to, or Monday he said he wanted to save his money instead of criticizing the officials after a controversial loss. But last night, after they lost to the LA Clippers, that wasn't the case. And Matt, I let's see if this works. Let's see how well this works. Trying new software. Let's see if this goes.
Yes, let's hope it does. This is from Wednesday night.
It was terrible tonight.
Gotta rewind this thing. Okay, now.
All right, yeah, sorry. This is what's the date? The exact date on this? Wednesday, April 8th. Wednesday, March 8th, after the game versus the Clippers, right? Where Kawhi, former Raptors Flame, done beat them with the assist from the referees.
All right, let's listen.
Ridiculous.
Nice.
And of course, an ad plays, right? Oh.
Fantasy baseball ad. Oh, it's a full ass thing. Holy fuck. They went into a full ass fantasy baseball podcast ad here. Oh my God. We get it. Fantasy baseball.
Yep.
Okay. So is this Fred VanVleet thing just gone? Thanks, Yahoo Sports.
Right. The one time. I'm going to refresh this. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I don't mind. I'll take a fine. I don't really care. I thought, Ben Taylor was terrible tonight. I thought that on most nights, a couple of the, out of the three, there's one or two that just the game up, and it's been like that a couple games in a row. Denver was tough, obviously. You come out tonight, you're competing pretty hard. The third quarter, I get a tech, changes the whole dynamic of the game, changes the whole flow of the game. And, most of the refs are trying hard. I like a lot of the refs are trying hard. They're pretty fair. They communicate well. And then you got the other ones who just want to be dicks and just kind of the game up. Nobody's coming to see that. They come to see the players. And I think we're losing a little bit of the fabric of what the NBA is and was. And it's been disappointing this season. You could look up most of my texts this year have been with Ben Taylor officiating. So at a certain point as a player, you feel it's personal. And it's never a good place to be. That's not why we lost tonight. We got outplayed. But it definitely makes it tougher to overcome. I think that there's been certain...
All right, so that's the main part of this. Now, here's a nice little stat, Matthew. Out of 8 possible technical fouls that Fred VanVleet has got, Ben Taylor gave him 5.
Ooh. Well, that is the majority. Mathematics will tell us. By the way, you might need to clean that up in post. There seemed to be an echo there. Maybe Fred VanVleet has been a robot this entire time. Anyway, yeah, man, that sucks. The Raptors, though, like obviously every fan thinks this. Every fan of every team thinks this. But I think due to the Canadian factor and the lack of superstars other than Vince Carter for like a year and a half and Kawhi for literally one season, the Raptors always get screwed over by the refs. They never get any respect. They're the little brother of the NBA, and that is kind of the way it's going to be until they get another Kawhi.
Yep, that's the unfortunate part, right? Really sucks. So they did ask him about this today, and he kind of apologized without apologizing. He says he was unprofessional, but he says heat of the moment, and he really didn't apologize to the ref whatsoever.
It was the heat of the moment telling us where our Fred went, and he went down with the ship. He did lose a little bit of money, but you know what? Fred's got a big contract coming. He can afford it. Yep, exactly. That's exactly it.
All right, so that is some NBA news. Let's talk about the WNBA. It's something that we typically don't talk about here, and that's just because, well, Toronto doesn't really have a team, and it's actually quite hard to catch games of the WNBA here in Canada unless they're nationally aired from the States. So the WNBA is coming to Toronto. They are actually supposed to debut May 13th at the Scotiabank Arena, and this game was going to be against the Chicago Sky and Minnesota Lynx. Dude, this game just about sold out earlier this week during the pre-sale. There were I think it was like under 500 tickets for the actual general sale today, and they sold out within seconds.
I love it, man. I bet they won't do this, but you know what they should call the team when they inevitably expand to Toronto, because they would be crazy if they didn't. If there's this much interest for a WNBA game anywhere on earth, put a team there immediately. So when they put a team in Toronto, they should call it the Toronto Pterodactyls.
I like that name. I really do.
It rolls off the tongue. It's a little long, doesn't fit so well on a jersey. So yeah, right. They could shorten it however they want, but the Toronto Pterodactyls for the the sister squad to the Raptors. I think that would be pretty good.
Man, it always makes me laugh how the Toronto basketball team is called the Raptors, because of all the Raptors that roamed here in the Toronto area, millions of years ago, not because of the popularity of the 1993 movie Jurassic Park.
That happened to be coming out at the exact same time that, I remember being that age, being like super into dinosaurs. I got the dinosaur magazine that sent you like little dinosaur bones every week. That
I remember that. Is that the one that had the 3D glasses?
Yeah. Yes. And then you make like your dinosaur model. And then like, oh man, that was some good stuff. Good shit, pal. But Toronto Pterodactyls is the way to go. And hopefully the Pterodactyls get more respect than the Raptors do. So you don't have, Fred VanVleet yelling in the heat of the moment. It was VanVleet of the moment, Boris. Anyway.
And you want to be a stand-up comedian.
That was an amazing little pun.
No, dude, I'm sorry.
That's
it was good.
I don't give a fuck
really
if you
good.
liked it or not. That's going to be the title of this goddamn podcast. So you better like it, buddy.
I love it. Love it. All right. You know what else is selling really well? Not surprising. WWE has been on a tear in terms of sales and ticket sales. So SmackDown is coming to Toronto in August, and the pre-sale was yesterday, and I checked the tickets last night before pre-sale ended, and dude, there was like maybe 2 sections in the 300, which is the upper bowl, available, and in those sections maybe like 120, 200 seats, and then the lower bowl had about 2,000 seats, and this is at the end of pre-sale. General sale starts tomorrow, Friday morning, so I think that's going to be a legit sellout for WWE here in Toronto.
They're doing very well, man. Meltzer said on the radio show today, and I hadn't even considered it, but he's right. They're going to Puerto Rico for Backlash, hosted by Bad Bunny. And Meltzer said, man, they probably could have sold out a stadium in Puerto Rico. They could have sold out a soccer stadium, man. They're that and it's been so long since Puerto Rico's got a big show. The last big WWE show, truly big WWE show, I think was New Year's Revolution 2005 with the Elimination Chamber.
Yep, which we just talked about on this show, I think episode. 2 episodes ago.
A couple, 1 or 2 ago at least. But yeah, man, so I think Dave is right. WWE's super hot right now. Hot.
Yep, muy caliente to our Puerto Rican fans.
Aha. Sí.
All right.
Bueno.
We're still talking sports. Let us talk some World Baseball Classic. It is going on right now. Essentially, it is the World Cup of Baseball. Man, this is why I love and hate FIFA. I love and hate FIFA because they're the only governing body who can get, the clubs and federations somewhat on the same page to do something like the World Cup every 4 years regardless. the World Cup of Hockey has had so many different formats, and it's happened so uncommon. The World Baseball Classic, so uncommon. Sometimes it's every 3 years, sometimes every 5 years, sometimes every 6 years. And after the last one, I'm actually surprised that a lot of clubs and teams are letting their players go, because I don't know if you remember, but there were a lot of injuries at the start of that year with players that went to the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, it's always a risk, but I do love the World Baseball Classic. I almost wish they did it every season. I not that I think they should do the World Cup of soccer and hockey every season, but I think for baseball, this is better than spring training. I'd rather see this at least every 2 or 3 years. Yeah. I'm very much okay with. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar, quickly, the format of the World Baseball Classic this year, it changes a lot. There are 4 pools of 5 teams. 5 times 4 is 20 teams in this World Baseball Classic.
Carry the one. Yes, your math is correct. 20.
All right, thank you. We'll consult an abacus on that one.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, you play every team in your pool, and then the top 2 teams in each pool move on to the quarterfinals, bud, the Elite 8, and then it's a straight bracket showdown until you get to the championship. So the United States are in Pool C with Canada, Mexico, Great Britain, and Colombia. They play in Phoenix, Arizona, and they have yet to start playing.
Yep. So there's 2 games every day. The games that happened today, which is Thursday, were Czech Republic and China, Cuba versus Panama. Friday's games are Korea versus Japan. That's a game to watch. And Italy versus Chinese Taipei. Do you know who the Italian coach is? The skipper?
Is it Mike Piazza, Boris?
Oh, you know it, buddy.
The pizza man, Piazza, New York catcher?
Los Angeles catcher, but sure.
Well, it's
Depends
a song.
what era. Yes.
Yeah, true. He was on the Mets. It's a song, I believe, by Sebastian and Bell. A really great song.
It is.
Piazza, New York catcher. I think it's on the Juno soundtrack.
I believe you're right. But yeah.
Elope with me, young Boris, and we'll sail around the world. Let's not do that.
Let's never do that ever again. Might even edit that out. I'm joking.
Please, for the love of God, edit that out.
Couple things I want to talk about the World Baseball Classic is, number 1, hope the injuries don't happen. Number 2, Matt, I love the international crowd. So what you didn't mention about the pools were that the various pools play in different continents.
Yes. So Pool A is in Taichung, Pool B, Tokyo, Pool C, Phoenix, and Pool D, Miami. So Pool C and D are in the same country, let alone continent. But yeah, well, I guess Pool A and B are in the same continent too, but different continents. Intercontinental Championship of baseball here, Boris.
Sounds better than the International Championship.
Well, which sounds better than the All Atlantic Baseball Classic.
All right, so the crowd. So I was watching the Panama Chinese Taipei game a few days ago, where Panama just steamrolled over Chinese Taipei, but the crowd was amazing. It was essentially, it felt like a soccer crowd.
Yes, in Taichung, Taiwan, unbelievable crowd, dancing, chanting, blowing on horns, flags everywhere. It was really cool to see.
Number 2, or I guess this is the third point that I want to make at this point. I have never been so happy for a pitch clock than I was watching these games.
Wait, there's no pitch clock, though.
That's what I mean. I am so happy that there is a pitch clock, because the Chinese Taipei game went 4 hours plus, 3.5 hours plus, I should say. The Cuba-Panama game earlier today, almost 4 hours. Whereas MLB games, and we're still only in spring training, we haven't even started the season with this thing. The Jays game a couple days ago went 2 hours, 15 minutes.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. This is the last old baseball that we're ever going to see. It's over after this. After this, it's big bases and pitch clocks and all the fancy stuff. This is the last taste of your grandpappy's baseball right here, buddy.
Yeah, it is. It is the whole base thing. I have yet to really care or really make an opinion on that. But the pitch clock, man, I'm telling you, I've already made my opinion, and I love it.
Boris is super for it. I'm anything that shortens baseball immediately by 30 minutes per game is a-okay by me. It's great, and it's not in your face from the little bit of spring training that I've seen. They only even put it on the clock, like on the screen, when it's like 5 seconds or less. So I quite think it's working, man. It's absolutely working.
Yep. All right, so that's the World Baseball Classic. We'll talk a little more about it as the tournament continues, because, as the tournament continues, we're going to be seeing the big boys, Japan versus USA versus Dominican versus Canada versus, well, Canada's not a big boy, but you know where I'm going with this. In a 4-way dance. I don't know where I'm going. I'm tired. You know what I mean.
Well, you had a lot of steam there for a second. So yeah, quickly, Canada's schedule. Do you have it? I can load it up real quick. I know they start against England on the 12th of March, which is Sunday.
Yeah, that's all I know. Is that they started on the weekend.
Yes. Okay. They play the States on Monday the 13th, so I'm sure they will be obliterated by the States, and that'll probably be the end of the tournament there.
But Canada
for the young Canadians.
I don't know what the final score was, but they were facing the Cubs yesterday, and the Cubs were beating them 6-4 the last I checked.
Oof. Well, it's not what you want. Not what you want. So yeah, the schedule. Sunday, March 12th versus Great Britain, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Monday, March 13th versus the USA, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesday, March 14th versus Colombia, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And Wednesday, March 15th versus Mexico, 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Very cool. There you go. World Baseball Classic coming at you.
Pitter patter. Let's get at her, bud.
Speaking of pitter patter, WWE is doing something very interesting. They're
getting at her.
They're getting at her. That's for damn sure. So I only know one person in my life who bets on wrestling, and that's our friend Marc Andrade.
Really? Oh, I never knew that about
He made
Andrade.
good money one WrestleMania. I forget which match it was, but he made really good money one year.
That's amazing. I have a funny story for you. So back in the day, Boris, in 2011, I was writing for The Score. thescore.ca in Canada. I was feeling myself pretty good about that. And I thought I considered myself something of a wrestling expert. I did, by God, little precocious 24-year-oldish Matt Ederer thinking he knows everything in the world. And I would brag about in my Score blog, betting on wrestling, betting on this Ryback versus Mark Henry WrestleMania match. That was money. It turns out it was illegal to do this in Canada at the time. Nobody in my blog noticed or cared. But yeah, so the funny part of the actual funny part of the story is, if you remember how this Ryback versus Mark Henry feud and match went, Ryback turned heel. Randomly in the build to WrestleMania, they turned Ryback heel.
You remember that?
And the odds for this match dramatically flipped. And instead of Ryback being like a slight favorite over Mark Henry in a match that I thought, oh, babyface Ryback is going to mow through Mark Henry at WrestleMania, this is the safest money I ever saw, and the odds are so good right now, they turned Ryback heel. And Mark Henry beat this man, and I lost my only bet on fake wrestling that I've ever made in my entire life. And it was one that I was bragging about publicly for weeks.
Amazing. That's hilarious.
Just amazing. Good old slice of humble pie for this guy. And a reminder that it's fucking fake and it's dumb to spend your money on it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because everybody knows that wrestling is predetermined. How do you set the odds? How do you add this to your sports books? Well, WWE is trying to work with the states of Michigan and Colorado, and they're actually working with the huge accounting firm of Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young works with academies like the Oscars, like the Emmys, and other academies like that to secure the results before they get told on air. So WWE is working with this accounting firm in order to be able to create odds in sports books within Michigan and Colorado. So yes, they can change the match, and this is the thing. It might change how booking works because now the booking is going to have to be well in advance, sent to Ernst & Young in a closed briefcase, put under, and locked on someone's arm, kind of like Benicio del Toro in Snatch, and to be only opened upon after the event to secure that, yes, this was legit. So Michigan and Colorado are the two states that WWE is working with Ernst & Young on. And this is huge, man. This is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see exactly what is happening. Colorado is an interesting one because, there is a law in Colorado prohibiting gambling on events with scripted or fixed outcomes. So I wonder what compelled WWE to target Colorado. I'm sure it's a tax reason. I'm sure there's something there to it. But they're working with Colorado and Michigan right now to try to get themselves into sports books. But Matt, my question for you is, we've always here's a perfect example. Not that it happened, and I think that I'm going to piss a lot of people off for even bringing this up, but let's say they did call an audible on the Sami Zayn Roman Reigns match here in Montreal. You wouldn't be able to do something like that anymore if you're working with an Ernst & Young on sports books.
Well, this is the thing, man. And on paper, it seems like this terrible idea, right? Like, oh my God, why would you ever do that? You need to listen to the crowd to book wrestling. But WWE's kind of had it set in stone for the last few months anyway. We all know what's happening at WrestleMania, and we have forever. It feels like we all know that this WrestleMania is leading to Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns and taking those titles. That's been set in stone for months. I don't know if this is going to be that big a change, but the thing is, even if 9 times out of 10 WWE does do the thing that they're planning on doing, that 1 time out of 10 could be so special. That's what wrestling should be. This just completely eliminates the Sami Zayn possibility, like you said. And I will go to my grave thinking they fucked up not giving Sami Zayn that win now, in Montreal.
Let's talk about something like the Royal Rumble, where the winner could be eliminated by accident.
Oh, that's an excellent point. The winner is going to have to stay in the middle of the ring the whole time to avoid something like that, right?
And to me, that will make it obvious. It will make it boring, especially if you're trying to build a star out of this Royal Rumble, right? Like if this is a person getting the Diesel treatment, getting the Kane treatment, getting the Brock Lesnar treatment, right? And they're just standing in the middle of the ring to make sure that they're not eliminated, it's going to really take away from a lot of the entertainment value.
You're right. But how many times has a person actually been eliminated by accident? Stone Cold that one time? Who knows if it's happened?
I like to think Macho Man did it in 93 because he's an idiot. I just had to.
Thank you. Yeah. You know how deeply that one. Oh man, damn you, Macho Man. Anyway, man, it is going to be interesting. I don't think that much will change ultimately, but in the odd chance that there could be an audible call where the fans are just cheering and it just makes so much sense. But 6 months ago, they decided that this guy has to win and they sent it to the committee that, watch dogs the Oscars or whatever. I don't know. It's a brave new world, man. But WWE booking rarely makes sense anyway. It goes in and out of sanity and has done since 2001.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Now, there could be ways that they can get around this, right? But these were just my first thoughts as I read that, right? So we'll see what happens, because I know a lot of people just read the headline. They're like, hey, it's fixed. How are they going to do this? Well, they're going to do it the way that the Academy Awards and other award shows do this, right? They have an accounting firm working with them to closely guard the results.
Yeah, exactly. That's a key to it. I didn't realize until researching this whole story that such a firm existed. That was a thing that was, it's a thing in our society. It makes sense, I suppose. You remember, I guess,
a few years ago, that whole controversy with La La Land. And they blamed the accountants. They got too drunk and something happened, and they blamed the accountants.
That's amazing. I did not research or care much about that. It was Moonlight and La La Land, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what had happened for our listeners is that they announced the wrong winner to the Film of the Year award at the Academy Awards because of some mix-up. Who knows what actually happened? But yeah, maybe an audible was called there. We don't know.
And we never will. But yeah, gambling, legal gambling on professional wrestling, a brave new world. The thing is, it's existed at least for the last dozen years, because I was doing it and publicly talking about it on the internet in 2011. I mean, no, I wasn't. Don't hold me to that. That's a lie. Those articles have been scrubbed anyway. You can't find my archive on the score. You go look for it. I hope you can. Please prove me wrong, but you go try to find it.
Matthew Smith will find it somehow.
Oh, please, Matthew Smith, please.
All right. Speaking of gambling in wrestling, Tony Khan's gamble with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of gambles going on with Ring of Honor. I don't know what you're getting at right now. We didn't talk about this before the podcast, but can I tell you what's bugging me the most about Ring of Honor before you go on your rant?
Yeah, let's hear you.
I love that he's trying to reach to Jay Briscoe, reach out to the Briscoe family and tribute this man. But another ladder match does not need to happen. Gonna like, why does Tony Khan have such a boner for ladder matches? You don't need to do one every 2 months, guy. Come on, save your talent. People get hurt in these ladder matches all the time too. It's like there's a little bit of I think Edge used to talk about Michael P.S. Hayes booking these ladder matches and putting them all together, and like, man, like, you're not the one taking these risks. Like, chill out, bro. And I think there might be a little bit of that in Tony Khan. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a weird man. He's a very, 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 very weird person. I have something to tell you when we're done recording. All right, so Ring of Honor.
Ominous.
Right? I kind of didn't care too much about this show. It was a very hard watch for me. It really...
Oh, that's sad. You're ROH Marc. That makes me sad.
I am an RH Marc, right? Like, I really am. But this one, it really did feel like an episode of Dark Elevation, what have you. It was 10 matches.
Wow.
10 matches. Some of them are okay. Some of them are entertaining, but 10 matches is very hard to consume, right? Like, I really wish this was more like the original syndicated ROH, where it was like 4 matches, 3 matches, some promos in the middle, and everything made sense. Right now, we're on the road to the Supercard of Honor, and yeah, there were some things happening with the Heavyweight Championship and all that fun stuff, but I just felt like a smorgasbord of matches, right? Yeah, Claudio Castagnoli and AR Fox, amazing match, tons of fun, but what, at the end of the day, like, why? Yeah, Eddie Kingston came out, did his thing, after he quit AEW last week, but, he did that. Yeah, it was cool to see Zack Sabre Jr., but why is he facing Blake Christian? It was amazing to see Mark Briscoe open up the show, but he faced Slim J. Yes, I understand that there is history there with Slim J and the original ROH, right? But it just felt like an episode of Dark. Madison Rain and Sky Blue against Charlotte Renegade and Robin Renegade, the Renegade twins, whom, by the way, I adore. But at no point was I ever thinking, oh, this match, I don't know who's going to win. It honestly felt like watching a 1992 episode of Superstars without amazingly shit promos.
Yeah, and without the great announcing. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because Riccobono and Caprice are great. Yeah, you're right. So at least they have great announcing like 1992 Superstars, but they don't have the fun, wacky characters and the crazy promos and the bright colors. It's not as fun. Man, I don't understand. Okay. For Ring of Honor, it's different. It's different though for Ring of Honor, because this is what Ring of Honor has to give you work rate. It has to give you the technical wrestling. It has to be a good in-ring product. Otherwise, what is Ring of Honor? That it has to lean into the pro wrestling and lots of it. This specific company, but I don't understand these wrestling promoters. There is so much of the same thing in wrestling. There's just so many guys doing flips and doing awesome moves and so many like WrestleMania main event kick out of 5 finishers matches. So much to digest. No one's doing a quick character based show. If Lucha Underground debuted this week, it would fucking slay. It would do so well in this landscape. Wrestling is ready for another Lucha Underground. We need short story-based wrestling. That's what we need. We don't need another AEW Dark. We do not need another 12-match card where 9 of them are squashes, 2 of them are semi-competitive, and then one's a really good main event. That's the last thing on earth the professional wrestling industry needs.
Dude, look how spoiled we are. We're complaining about watching amazing wrestling, but we now
not complaining.
But the point I'm trying to make right now
I know what you're saying.
Is that we see so much good wrestling, there needs to be a little something more to that to catch my attention, right? Also, my last point is you might need to repeat your theory about Tony Khan and Wheeler Yuta, because this was so apparent in this episode when Timothy Thatcher called out Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, I'll dust this off every time you ask me, Boris. So it goes back to Raven on a shoot interview, which Raven's shoot interviews are amazing if you can get through them. But it's like 6 hours of content and like 2 hours of amazing and 4 hours of him rambling like a drunken Looney Tune character. But I love Raven, and he's a brilliant man. And his whole thing is that wrestling bookers have one character who they see themselves in, and that inevitably becomes their favorite character. And they're pushed to a hard degree no matter what's going on in the rest of the show. And his theory was that Paul Heyman saw himself in the Raven character. And though it was like more goth than Heyman ever was, he was anti-establishment, and he was fucking mad at the world, and he was traumatized, and he was pissed off, and he wanted everyone to feel his pain, and he wanted to create madness and chaos, and that was Raven. Yep. Tony Khan is Wheeler Yuta. Tony Khan sees himself in Wheeler Yuta. He's a weird, bland, kind of short guy, kind of looks like Tony Khan, got this weird black hair and the weird black beard. No one knows where he came from, why he's here. He's just the man with the spot. That's all he is. He's just the guy who showed up, and he's here because he's here. And if you don't like it, flip the fucking channel. That's Tony Khan, and that's Wheeler Yuta.
Yep, that's exactly it. Dude, it's just so funny. Every time I see Wheeler Yuta, I just think of your theory of that.
That's it. That's his boy. If you had to pick one guy in all of Ring of Honor or all of AEW, that would be the pick. That's my pick.
Yep. Oh, that's so freaking funny. All right, let us talk some New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is the New Japan Pro Wrestling Cup, and I'm only going to really focus on the Cup matches. So the first night had some very, very good matches. This is actually just a random match, but I actually really liked it. It was Zack Sabre Jr. and Kosei Fujita. They went up against Tama Tonga and Ryohei Oiwa. That match was a lot of fun. I think that Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be facing Tama Tonga very soon for that TV title.
Oh, I like that a lot. Tama Tonga can go. He has really improved in the last 3 years. Basically since COVID, that guy has really hit another gear. Love me some Tama Tonga. I love the idea of the veteran and the young boy tag. That's pretty fun.
Yep. Leo Rush, man, he's back. He's looking great.
Let's go. Let's go.
The other thing I wanted to point out about these cards is that it has a very G1 feel, where the undercard, yeah, there are all the stupid tag matches that everyone hates and everyone fast forwards if they watch this on demand, but they're fast. They're like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, and they're vital for experience for these guys. Though if in a 4-minute 6-man tag, you're getting like 30 seconds of ring time, maybe. I mean, it's important. Get out there, maximize it. The people who are paying attention, they want to see you try and maximize whatever window of opportunity you get, right? So
yep,
it's quite important.
All right, first round matchup at the New Japan Cup. Tetsuya Naito versus El Phantasmo. Matt, you know I've been very high on El Phantasmo. You know that in my head, in my brain, I was booking him to go very far in this tournament.
You stopped short of it, but it kind of felt like you wanted to pick him to win it. You stopped short, but
good thing I stopped short because he is eliminated from this tournament. Who would have thought Tetsuya Naito actually gets a win in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Dude, this match was really, 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 really well done. And let me tell you this, El Phantasmo looked like he deserved to be in the ring with Tetsuya Naito. They went just sub of 18 minutes. Great match. Amazing match. El Phantasmo got out of a Destino, hits a super kick. Naito then went for a roll-up for the win. So the story that they were eventually saying was, yeah, Naito won, but El Phantasmo got screwed out of this match because of a roll-up.
Right, like Naito had to take the back door to beat Phantasmo, kind of the Hangman Page, John Moxley story. So you're saying it's list worthy? I should add it to the watch list for possible 123 of 2023?
I'm pointing directly at you, bro. Yes, do it.
Throwing it on. All right, it will be added to the list. Naito versus Phantasmo, New Japan Cup round 1. Duly noted.
Here's another New Japan round 1 cup, and it was Sonata versus Tai Chi with Taka Michinoku in his corner. This match was also tons of fun.
Sonata versus Tai Chi. I'm actually just reading the New Japan Cup 2023 wiki here, Boris, and they're telling me 24 minutes, 27 seconds for this one.
I timed it. Yeah, I timed it at 24:25, but yes.
By God, that is a main event. I like Tai Chi. I wish he would have won.
I did too. And this was the main event of the show. When you look at the brackets and you saw Tai Chi and Sonata, I know a lot of people were groaning and angry, but you know what? I've been a fan of Sonata over the past little bit. He's much better than Evil, and he's much better alone without Evil. And then there's someone like a Tai Chi who, in my opinion, has a stupid as shit character and gimmick, but
inarguably, yes.
But he's improved a lot in the ring. He's kind of like, he's kind of like Tama Tonga in that sense, where since 2020, since the pandemic, I feel like he's really improved. Unlike our boy, what's his name? The guy that, Chaos.
What? Yano?
Yeah. Yano.
Oh yeah. No, Yano. Yeah. Toru Yano is never going to improve, but that's why we love Toru Yano. He is going to stay 5.1 out of 10 forever, and that is the Toru Yano way. But yes, it's awesome to see Tai Chi's improvement in the ring, man. He has the dumbest character. He is like evil singing boy. He comes to the ring singing emo songs. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's the Phantom of Korakuen Hall. That is Tai Chi.
All right, let's talk about night 2. Night 2, once again, tons of undercard matches. Let's talk about the first round matches. And this match was amazing. 9 minutes, 47 seconds. Shota Umino versus Yujiro Takahashi with Peter.
Really? The Tokyo Pimps versus Shota.
Yep, very good. Very good, very fast. Way. And Umino advances to the next round to face Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, that'll be fun. Zack Sabre Jr. versus the son of Red Shoes, Shota Umino. He's been on AEW a couple times. You know Shota.
Yep, exactly. I'm talking about
Well,
it.
I know you.
You're talking to
I know.
I'm being a dick.
Was this the show with the Finley Ishii match that I've heard about?
This is the next match I'm going to talk about. David Finley with Gedo versus Tomohiro Ishii. First round New Japan Cup tournament match went 19 minutes, 18 minutes, 47 seconds. Holy shit. This was fun. David Finley is essentially Switchblade. He's replaced the character. If wrestling had a way to recast characters, just call David Finley Switchblade at this point.
Exactly right. It's like what's a famous character? Well, like Aunt Viv on on the Fresh Prince, when just a new one just showed up one day. That's like a new Switchblade just showed up. They recasted the Switchblade, and his name is Fit Finley Jr.
Yep, it was just good. Finley hits a stunner, clothesline, headbutt, neck breaker over his knee for the win. Dude, this match was really good. Another match that you should check out. So now,
cool. So yeah.
David Finley advances to face Great O'Khan in the second round. After the match, Gato got on the mic and said Finley is going to flip the division on its head. And then he said, so what if Jay White isn't here?
David Finley versus the Crate O'Corn. I love it. The human crate of corn, the Great O'Khan. I love that guy. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that he's like punching out rapists on Twitter or whatever he was doing there. But how could you not love the Great O'Corn, the Crate of Corn?
And you know what? So here's the crazy part. This main event. Do you know what the main event of this show was?
I do. I well, just because I'm looking at this wiki and there's only one tournament match left to talk about. Oh wait, are there two?
So no, the main event. This is the 51st anniversary show. This one had.
Oh, I do know. Boris, I'm going to go get a beer. Please tell me about this match, because I've heard really good things about this tag team, buddy.
Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi defeated Okada and Tanahashi.
Back out, Boris. Back out. The mega powers of New Japan.
Oh, 100%. This match went about 21 minutes. This match was a lot of fun. This match was really well done. I really enjoyed this. I think both teams did great. Matt said it best when he said this was like the mega powers going at it. This match was very, very much a 50-50 match. It was very well done. Tanahashi and Yoshihashi were trading forearms while they were on their knees. They standed. Bishamon set up for Shoto, but Tanahashi escaped. They then hit Shoto, team slam for a very close near fall, which I think was a 3. Okada made the save. Bishamon again set up for their Shoto, but Tanahashi fought free. Tanahashi then got a roll up. Yoshihashi set up for Karma, but Hiroshi blocked it. Bishamon then finally hit Shoto on Tanahashi, and that was it. Like the last 4 minutes had such close pins, such close near falls. Dude, it was so well done.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I have heard good things about this match. I actually forgot to add this one to the watch list as well. So thank you for reminding me.
Yep.
That's at least 2, probably 3 that I need to add to the list.
Yeah.
Blackout. But yeah,
it was
man.
Actually cool having the 51st anniversary show with important matches for the New Japan Cup.
No doubt. Not only that, but this really cool tag team and kind of a shocking result. Like, I really would have thought if they're going to put them together and put them in the main event, they're going to win the titles. But they really puts over Bishamon strong to beat Okada and Tanahashi. Obviously, they pinned Tana and not Okada, which at this point makes sense, I guess, because Tana's older. He's the elder statesman in the group. It's like pinning John Cena versus pinning Roman Reigns, right?
Yep. All right. Let us go to night 3 of the New Japan Cup tournament. Marc Davies, our boy, Marc Davies with Kyle Fletcher went up against your boy, Toru Yano.
Yes, the eternal 5.1 out of 10, Toru Yano. That's why Toru Yano.
Sorry. Oh my God. This match went way too long. This match was given almost 12 minutes.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
That's
absurd.
10 minutes more than Yano should be on my screen.
I legitimately, unironically love Toru Yano. I can't defend that. That's too much.
Yep. All right. Marc Davies, thank God he won. Because Yano, you never know. Yano squeezes out random wins in these tournaments.
Oh, he'll pin a good wrestler. That's part of the reason why we love him.
Yep. Anyways, Marc Davies won. And do you know who he's facing in the next round?
Well, if my Wikipedia is accurate, and it always is, Boris, Will Ospreay is facing Marc Davis In the next round, the United Empire explodes. Student versus teacher. Davis versus William Ospreay, by God.
Yep. It's going to be great. I think that, oh my God, that match is going to be incredible. Incredible.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
Yeah, man.
Also.
So, yes, 100,000,000% agreed, buddy. Can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see what they have in store, how they're going to like structure it, you know?
Yeah. The next match went way too long for my liking. It was Evil against Ren Narita. It was Evil being evil and doing evil stuff. You've seen one Evil match, you've seen them all at this point.
Yes, yeah, man, exactly right. So yeah, we've seen them all. We have seen every single one. Don't need to see another.
Ref bump. Dick Togo jumps in the ring. Blah, 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 blah. They beat up Ren Narita. Blah, 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 blah. Ren somehow gets out of this. Applies a rear naked choke. Evil clotheslines Togo. Ren avoided Everything is Evil. Hits hit Insiguri. Evil hit a low blow mule kick. Then a clothesline. Then he finally hit Everything is Evil for the win. And he advances. He goes on the mic, talks to the crowd to close the show. It was meh, to say the least.
Yeah, it's like it's the 4-step evil process. It's like step 1, ref bump. Step 2, dick to go. Step 3, mule kick. Step 4, go fuck yourself. That's the evil foursome right there.
I love it. That needs to be turned into a t-shirt for us.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, man. All right. It's just about Impact time. Got to cover that for Slam Wrestling. You know what's really cool? I am going to be going to the Windsor show for Slam Wrestling, and I'll be covering that show live.
That is dope. Glad to hear that, man. That's very fun.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to chat about before we go?
No, I don't know, homie. Let's do this Impact and let's see if this rattles anything in my brain. You know what? Oh, I thought you were reviewing Impact.
No,
You're
no,
not?
No, no,
good.
I'm not.
Okay.
No. Impact's happening right now.
Oh, I understand. Okay, my bad. I could throw a top 5 Iron Man matches at you real fast, but we could save that. Let's save it.
Let's save it for a Sunday Night Heat episode of BAM.
Indeed. We'll let that one simmer on the pot. Is MJF versus Danielson the greatest Iron Man match of all time? Why don't you tell us, listeners? Maybe you could sway my opinion before I just throw more fucking hot takes at you, like the fireball, like the absolute flamethrower that this podcast is. By God, Boris.
Keep it locked here on the Sunday Nights Main Event Network for all of your wrestling and pop culture needs. We've got a show for you. Whether you love wrestling, comedy, interviews, sports, we've got you covered here on Sunday Night's Main Event. Join the family by going to patreon.com/SNME Radio. Got so much on the go, so much happening. Matt, as always, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
I never meant to give that tech to you.
I'm going to mute you very soon. He's Matt. I'm Boris. Till next time, stay tranquilo.
Oh, yeah.